Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 10th of August, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index, pushing higher still. So coming back to test this resistance level. We're bullish in the short term and the medium term chart. The weekly longer term chart is still below the cloud. But again, we're just watching for a break of that level that we saw at the end of March. And we're coming back to test the level we saw last month. So dollar strength is very much the key at the moment. Looking at the euro, that means, of course, the euro is weaker against the dollar, sinking below the level we saw last month, and again coming back to test that level that we saw. And a good heads up for the sort of lead indicator of the dollar is the yen. We've already broken the level that we saw back in March, but we're not quite above last month's level, so the yen is looking a little bit stronger in that medium-term picture. Sterling is sitting at 138.60. Bearish against that stronger dollar this last few days, but still long-term bullish. And if we look at against the euro, we're sitting at 118, so sterling is gaining strength there. Looking at Bitcoin, we're sitting at $45,900, but the recovery is now clear. We're through the cloud on the daily chart, so back to bullish on all three time frames. We've got a target to $82,000 for Bitcoin, 83,000 on the short-term chart. So that would, of course, be a new high for Bitcoin. So looking much better than it has been of late. The S&P 500 index was little changed yesterday. The futures this morning down very slightly. The Nasdaq future is up very slightly, so the market is likely to open flat. The VIX volatility little changed. FTSE future down 0.2%, but European markets just slightly up this morning. The DAX in Germany up slightly, and the CAC Quarante also up slightly. Japan was up 0.4%. The Hang Seng was up 1.3%, not enough to recover the recent falls that we've seen. We might be finding some long-term support there on the cloud, and the Chinese market, which has been a bit of a worry of late, just falling away there, is recovering some of that poise, and the longer term weekly chart is still there, and we are back to short term bullish on the 60-minute chart. So looking better. The Indian market still continues to make new highs. That's looking strong. There's big target to aim for. And if we look at we'll look at the energy mix in a minute. If we look at soft commodities, down very slightly on wheat and corn. Gold up 0.25% this morning, just recovering a little bit after yesterday's big dramatic falls. Not enough to change the picture medium and short term. The key thing is we hold these lows that we saw back in March and April. Silver below that $24 mark, and found support at 23. We just need to hold 23 really. That's a signal of the level that we need to hold. Went to 22.50 on the intraday level, and again we just need to watch for that. US 10-year yields sitting at 1.33%, so we're just seeing gradually climbing there, still holding on to the long-term trend there, so still in train. Looking at the energy mix, we've got Brent Crude. This is the long-term chart of Brent Crude, a weekly line chart. So we see here that 75 seems to be a resistance level, and we just put those levels on the chart. We see here that we've got levels all the way through where the price could come back to, but the key thing is on the medium-term daily chart. If we break below this 67, 68 level, that would take us through the cloud. It would give us the lower high, and the lower low would be bad for crude. We are still bearish on the 60-minute chart. The daily chart, we've got multiple targets, both up and down. We've got these downside targets dominating on the 60-minute chart. That's where we went to. We have got some mini targets to the upside on the very short-term 1-minute chart. So we're seeing a little bit of a recovery playing through there. Coal is above $100, so that is really quite key. Seeing the coal price rise to that level. And if we look at emissions, we're sitting at 57 euros, so recovering there as well, pushing above the cloud, so looking stronger. And if we're looking at the UK emissions chart, we're starting to get a bit more of a picture there. NBP is up 3.4%, no stopping gas prices as we push higher, and TTF also just pushing higher, so again, no stopping there. Looking at the German power, up 1.3%, above 80 euros for the first time in a very long time, so that's looking bullish. And Nordic power up 3%. We continued our bullish stance from last week on Nordic power as well. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.